Alright guys, I'm going to do kind of a product comparison between the AMP-3 Outfitter and the BLACKHAWK Medic roll-up bag. So I wanted a bag similar to the AMP-3 Outfitter. So I went out and I bought one of these BLACKHAWK bags, and I found that the quality difference between the AMP-3 Outfitter and the BLACKHAWK is so different. And I wanted to share some of the differences with you guys today. First, let's take a look at size. You can already see that the AMP-3 Outfitter is bigger, and in this case I'm gonna say that size does matter. You're able to fit a lot more into the Outfitter just based on the size of its pockets. Let's open this up and we can compare the two. So the AMP-3 Outfitter comes in about 40 inches long, about 14.5 inches wide. The BLACKHAWK comes in about 36 inches long, 13.5 inches wide. It may not seem like that big of a difference, but you can already tell that there's a lot more space to put your first aid items in the AMP-3 bag. Let's talk about the difference in size of the pockets. In the BLACKHAWK, most of the pockets are going to be about 4 to 5 inches wide and about 6 inches tall. And your smallest pocket is going to be about 3 inches wide. On the Outfitter, your smallest pocket is 5 inches wide and your largest is 6 inches wide. One of the most difficult parts when I was putting together my first aid kit was fitting the things that I wanted into each of the pockets. If you've ever seen an AMP-3 product, you know that they like to do what they call modules. In this case, I have the trauma module, or I think it's really similar, the same as the blood stopper. So everything that you need to treat, let's say, a gunshot wound, or any kind of heavy bleeding is in this packet. Now this bag is a 6x9 and I can't fit it anywhere in this system, which means I then had to separate the pieces and put them into separate pockets, making it more difficult and less efficient if I ever had to use anything like this. Let's talk about the quality of the bags themselves for a second. I'm not going to get into the thread count on whether it's Cordura nylon or just nylon, but both of these bags are going to be really sturdy. They both also have excellent buckles that are really easy to use, and that's really important because if your buckle breaks, you're going to be screwed. It's important to have high quality buckles. Both products have excellent carry handles. You'll see that they took the nylon and doubled it over for more stability. It might be hard to see in the video, but it does also have double stitching, and the Outfitter does the exact same thing. One major difference between the bags and the way that they open is that the BLACKHAWK has Velcro right here to keep it closed even if these buckles are not done. So you really have to be intentional about opening that up and then letting it roll out. Now the Outfitter does not have that Velcro, and that's actually intentional because the idea was that you would be able to hang this from a tree through these grommets here and just let it fall and hang. Let's talk about inside the bags for a second and the quality control here. It's not really a control issue necessarily, but you'll notice that the BLACKHAWK bag has a clear plastic so that you can see everything that's in your bag. Initially, I loved that, and I thought that I would like this bag, the BLACKHAWK bag, more than the Outfitter, because I could actually see the content that I was wanting to get out. Whereas the Outfitter has this mesh lining, and it's a little bit more difficult to see through it and see what's in your pouch. But what I found is that the mesh is a lot more flexible than the plastic on the BLACKHAWK bag. It's actually kind of hard to get things in and out of here because the plastic doesn't offer any give whatsoever, whereas the mesh from the Outfitter has a little bit of give to it, and they even designed it so that it has some slack. The plastic is pretty much just straight across. Another thing that David was telling me, and I haven't experienced this yet myself, but it wouldn't surprise me at all, is that the plastic in extreme weathers, it's going to get really soft when it's hot, and then it's going to get really hard when it's cold. And going back and forth, because this is one that I keep in my car, going back and forth, the plastic over time is going to become brittle. So this bag may not have the same longevity as the Outfitter. Let's talk about price and availability for a second. The BLACKHAWK bag comes in about $30. I think I've seen it as much as $45. I think I got mine for just over $30 at lapolicegear.com. It's a good bag. If you're wanting something heavy duty, I might encourage you to look elsewhere. Here's the major bummer with the AMP-3 outfitter. You cannot buy just the bag itself. One of the reasons for that is at AMP-3 they have a really difficult time keeping up with the demand. This is their #1 product. They're getting them out, as fast as they can make them. They're making them as fast as they can get them out, and they just can't get enough of the nylon to keep in stock to sell individually. So now that I've ripped on the BLACKHAWK Medic roll-up bag, and I've now told you that the AMP-3 outfitter bag is not available for individual sale, where does that leave you? I researched several different bags, and there's still other ones that I would really love to try to see, but I actually kind of went down a different route.